What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Podcast, episode 244. I'm here with Griffin.
I'm here with Trav. I forgot what I was
Choo-choo.
Hey, Griffin took all the blue pills while me and Adam try to figure out the multiverse.
We fucking did it, guys. We watched The Matrix and Spider-Man.
I think that's why I fucked that intro up. It's too much.
I guess. Oh, this is what we said, right? Was it Spider-Man, 2 shows, then The Matrix, or was
I
it
think
Matrix?
it was Matrix, Dexter, Hawkeye, Spider-Man.
Yeah. Those two need to go together because it's kind of the same world.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. Matrix.
Yeah.
Never thought that they would be able to follow up the Matrix, period, right? I figured that once the Wachowski siblings, sisters, brothers, whatever they are now, like once they were gone.
Yeah. Reboot.
Then someone would try to do it, but nah, dude, like they came back with a vengeance. Well,
It was just a
Lana came back with a vengeance.
The other one's like, I'm fucking done with that shit.
Yeah.
But he was done with that shit.
Yeah. And I mean, we talked about this movie. We talked about both of these.
Yeah, recently these two we watched.
Yeah, leading up to the releases, man, and it's like, they kept saying, they're bringing Trinity back, they're bringing Neo back. This person was cast, this person. We saw the trailers, and the whole time I'm just like, my expectations for this is so unbelievably low.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because I didn't know. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking like this is going to be like Cloud Atlas meets, the Matrix. It wasn't that at all. It was good, man. It was very enjoyable in a big bad way. The story that they went with them like basically rebuilding them.
Yeah.
Putting them in those chambers. Put them back in the Matrix because, which is crazy to think. Like, all right, so you got to think that like they went through this cycle with the Matrix. That was like at the end of the third film, it was the 7th version of the Matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
6th or 7th version. So you would think that once they rebooted everything, like the one was inevitable. So
yeah, it's always going to happen.
Yeah. So you would think that. Yeah. The one would always show up. The one's inevitable. But since they put Neo and Trinity back into the Matrix, does that void the warranty?
I think it did.
I mean,
well, they definitely figured something out. There was a balance. They had a good balance they said 60 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time, dude.
Well, what I was mentioning was the fact that, like, at the end of the, last Matrix, they said that, well, fuck, no, we made it past that. God damn it. So, and then Trav said that, the Animatrix thing with the kid, that worked. That's how, that kid got pulled out because he saw Neo, and then he kind of like came to and saw the world for what it was, and then wanted to get pulled out. So they were kind of forced to pull him out in the Animatrix, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Is that the animated thing?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the kid in the third Matrix film that's like, Neo, I'm your biggest fan. That little goofy bitch,
It was all, it was all into the fact that like Neo's snapping people out of it, regardless of whether he's trying to.
Yeah, he wasn't even trying to. People were just seeing it and being like, "Whoa, what's that?"
And it's compounded on in this one when it's particularly whenever he's interacting with like Trinity and all of that. Like it's the familiarity just it snaps her out of her life, and she starts coming to see him at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
What's crazy that he was in this daze of he didn't know who he was. Well, he thought he was working on a game.
Yeah.
So he's in there making a new Morpheus.
Yeah. Brand new Morpheus.
new Agent Smith, which that guy did a great job for Mindhunter. I can't remember that dude's name.
Yeah, he did an amazing
He's
job.
awesome.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. So kind of the story is like at the end of the third film, whenever Neo sacrifices himself to basically get rid of Agent Smith and have this like peace treaty happen. At that point, like they were still wanting to use the humans as like they were still using the humans as batteries. They were still basically, you know, allowing the people from the Matrix to go in and pull people out if they wanted to, this, that, and the other, right? But they weren't getting enough power, so there was allegedly a civil war. You know what I mean?
And the machines.
Well, because the deal was that if Neo returned to the source, then the machines would lay off Zion.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah.
And there was peace.
Well, and the idea of the robots, like the robots themselves, it's like the AI split.
Yeah, there was different factions of this AI that were fighting over power. Right? Like at the end of the day, that's what they were. And it's crazy because like they don't have the power because of the humans, right? Because the humans they were all solar powered, so they decided to just like fuck the atmosphere, dude. We're getting rid of these bitches. And then they're like, "Oh, you want to play fucking dirty? Well, we're going to start harvesting you and using you as batteries." We're going to make a cattle farm out of you, you know? So there was a war that happened, but we're not in Zion anymore. We're in Io, right?
This is all of this conflict happens post third film in the 60-year gap while Neo and Trinity are essentially a quantum computer. At least that's my takeaway from it.
I mean, there might be a show there.
Quantum computer?
You know what I'm saying? A little prequel?
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, it'd be nice to see some of that shit.
Because if you the thing with them is that they were such high value targets for some reason because of their coding in the Matrix. The machines put their body, crypt, pod, whatever, like they weren't just plugged in some random field and just okay, well that's it, job's done. The machines were aware of the, I guess I'm for simplicity's sake, they can compute and make the Matrix better, pump out more energy, all that stuff. I can't remember the jargon they use for that shit, but because with the analyst, because he says, you know, we found out that if we kept you guys just at arm's length, everything thrives.
Yeah, because he said if they were too close to one another, if they put them in the matrices and they were married, then it would go haywire. And if they put them in the matrix and they were too far away from one another, then it would go haywire. The only balance that they could achieve was to put them in the matrix in the same city, frequenting some of the same shops. So they had like more or less daily, not really daily contact, but
a routine.
Yeah, kind of.
They took the plot of Hancock and made it be their thing, or like a Hawkeye, Hawk Girl thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then did you guys, because with it being all computer based and everything, whenever they were when they were on the speed rail and that whole sequence, and how they were going through the different doors and all that with I forget her name, the new
Bugs.
character. Yeah. My first thought was like, because she was saying, you know, they can't trace us this way. They think we're so and so. But I was like, VPN.
Yeah, right. They got that VPN face, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, like Neo has been struggling with basically the Matrix is selling it to him as like he was developing this game for so long that he thought that he was part of it, and he wrote himself into it, and like he's struggling with having a quote unquote these mental breakdowns or these reality breaks where he starts to remember things that happen. And the analyst, as his therapist, was basically feeding him, just constantly feeding him the blue pills over and over again to keep his mind at bay. Well, to keep him subdued inside of the Matrix, I guess you could say. And which is crazy because at one point he has the Matrix code pulled up on his computer.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like looking at the Matrix code, and it's like, okay, so you could chalk that up as like, okay, that's just like the Matrix code from the game, right? Or if you look a little deeper, like, is it though? Like, and then like, all right, so before we go any further, like he creates a modal, right? That's what they call them, right? Modal, like basically a PTS, a test environment. And in this modal, it's rerunning this simulation where they have this interaction with Trinity in the from the first film, and that's where he programs a version of Morpheus, and it's a version of Morpheus mixed with Agent Smith, which is like yin and yang, like almost more so than Neo and Agent Smith. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like Morpheus was like pure good, pure for the survival of the human race, you know. And then you've got, of course, Agent Smith, who wants to just turn everybody into him by sticking, you know, the hand where it don't belong. You know what I mean? So he creates this program, and then Bugs gets into this modal and figures out a way to pull Morpheus out of the modal by giving, you know, having him, you know, take the pill or whatever. And so kind of where my mind goes with it is like, if Neo's the one that created it, or if Mr. Anderson's the one that created it, then who's to say that they're not in one now? And we were talking about this the other night as kind of like theories and things. It's like, well, what if like the Matrix, the version of the Matrix that Neo and Trinity exists in, is separate from the actual Matrix? Like it's got enough people plugged into it to populate this environment, but it's separate because they said that every time that they were too close together, things went crazy. Every time that they were too far away from one another, things went crazy. But they didn't say they had to reset the Matrix. They just had to reset a part of the Matrix. But how do you do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like a quarantine. Like you would isolate an area, you know?
So, and that's to me kind of what it feels like. And then the fact that like when you get to the end of the film, Neo, Trinity wake up, they go see the architect, and they're like, we're going to remake this place ourselves. And basically the analyst is like, sure, like knock yourselves out, go crazy. And it's like, realistically, even though a treaty exists, would the machines allow that to happen, like legitimately?
I don't think so.
I don't think that they would either, unless it was a controlled environment and they don't know that it's a controlled environment. Because technically they could go in there and reset it since they've already apparently, you know, allegedly done that before.
Well, the movie itself ends on the idea that they broke the treaty with the machines. That's the one of the plot threads, you know. Like with that, like if there's a sequel, they'll absolutely show us the ramifications of them heisting Trinity out and everything.
Yeah.
So it's almost like everything they did. Well, I guess it wasn't for nothing because we got 60 years of peace, but I mean, it's all going to start over. But this time, the next time around, there's different factions of the machines. So there's good machines. There'll be bad machines. I mean, they were working. What do they call them? Sentience.
Well, even but the way they did Morpheus, like that we're so far along in the future now that they're able to pull programs out and let them take a holographic form, I guess.
Instead of having to use someone's body like Agent Smith did.
They don't need computers anymore, really.
Yeah.
He was like a pile of BBs or something.
Right.
Magnets, how they work.
Like it's almost like it throws back to the baby face at the end of the third movie.
I mean, without him, it would have been really hard to sneak into that place.
Yeah, legit, right?
I mean, he just went right up the pipes.
Yeah. So, and I guess like from this point forward, it's like, okay, they broke the treaty with them, but what if that's what the machines wanted them to do? Like, all right, think about it. Like they wanted to keep this
like an Inception type.
Well, kind of like, because think about it. If they break the treaty with the machines and then the machines come back and they're like, okay, we'll let Neo out. We'll let him stay out and Trinity stay out, but we need the power that these other people have. You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And then it's one of those things too. It's like, okay, if they broke off into factions, there's no way that all of these different factions are running the same version of the Matrix, right?
Yeah.
So with that idea in mind, it's like, all right, so they got rid of
old Matrix could still be running, dude.
I mean, yeah, for sure. And it's like they said they got rid of the architect and they got rid of the
from
Oracle.
This installation.
Yeah. So who's to say that they're not running other versions of the Matrix?
Well, I mean, you're definitely going to keep backups of it.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that with the Manjavelian or whatever.
Merovingian, yeah.
Whatever the fuck
is that?
Remember the fucking French dude with the twins?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how did they not get purged?
Well, they said that they were exiled programs.
Yeah, but still.
So, like,
they purged, I mean, what was it, the archetype?
Architect?
Wasn't that a exiled program?
Well, they said that they're trying something different.
No, not him, the Oracle. She was.
Yeah.
They were able to purge her.
So, but they said that they still hear from her, like, kinda. So she's still there. No, they said that they haven't heard from her in a while. But it's been within that 60-year time span, though. Right. So, I don't know. There's different.
A lot happened in the movie.
Yeah, legit.
And it's one of those, like, at that night after we got on, and Corey was like, I watched the movie. Did you watch it? And you were like, no. And I was like, I did. And I was like, I'm going to need a minute to mull it over.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I just watched it.
Yeah.
So my brain's trying to build, this could happen, or this, or old swap board.
And I'm still feeling that way, man. Like, I need to give it another watch.
Yeah, I need to watch it again.
But it's
now that I know what happens.
What's great?
I will say it wasn't as bad as some people are making it out to be.
Absolutely not. Well,
I know
bad reviews.
It's got mixed reviews, very mixed reviews.
Yeah,
I saw where people were saying that it was real woke, and I was like, not more than you'd expect it to be.
Well, I just figured from the get-go that the movie was just. This movie intentionally is on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was a case of, just being clever and witty and woke per se. Because none of it felt like it was, I just feel like a lot of the articles where they bring up talking points in the movie, and especially with the franchise legacy and all that stuff. I felt like that wasn't pushed in your face at all.
Yeah. Well, and this is the way that I look at it too, man. It's like that first film came out and it redefined what action films were, right?
That was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody shit on 2 and 3 when we went back and fucking did them recently.
Yeah, episode 214.
Yeah.
And I think that's right.
Yeah. So we
213, 214, we did the Matrix.
So we did
so 7 months ago.
Yeah.
That's what it says here.
And
enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have any problems with, with the way that the second and third film shook out. I mean, yeah, things could have been done differently or possibly could have been done better. But in reality, like, they had a vision and they went for it, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of how I feel about this. And here's, I think that it's getting such a bad rap is because, like, nothing is ever going to be able to live up to that first Matrix film. Like,
or what you would identify with as the right idea to do the sequel.
exactly. Yeah.
Like, because like all of us would come out with different films
Yeah.
entirely, probably.
So, I mean, I just think that, like, that first Matrix film, which is much deserved, but people have it built up in their heads so damn much that
Yeah.
they can't let it go. And
yeah, but you have to let it go because
yeah,
it's more Matrix, dude. Come on.
yeah,
Like, story
I think
continues.
it was a solid pick up from where the other one left off.
yeah,
It answered any kind of question that I would have following Revolutions, because all right, the Matrix has clearly been reloaded again,
yeah,
and shit's gonna be different this time around, and it was. And you had the past characters, the critical, characters coming back, and people are like, well, they didn't do Morpheus right. Well, it's like, no, they like, of course, certain people wouldn't show up. And by the end of the movie, I even had the theory too, that I know that they were kind of, it was more or less meant to be kind of a one-off, like, little quip towards Morpheus, but it would be interesting to think that all this time Morpheus was a program.
yeah. Like, what a mind fuck that would be,
Because, well, think about it. Agent Smith was able to go into the real world. Now,
Mhm.
granted, his sanity was lost in the process, but we're talking about two different characters with two different, you know, outlooks and positions in the story. You have Smith, who's nefarious, who has, he has all the typical villainous, concepts of leaving the Matrix. And then you have Morpheus, who is just purely devoted to finding the savior, be it in the digital world or in the in the real one.
Yeah,
And so I feel like it would make sense that Morpheus could transcend into like a human body.
yeah,
But I mean that starts becoming fan fiction and headcanon at that point. But still, it was an interesting thought that I thought I had.
yeah. Well, and like Adam said earlier, it's like you got 60 years to cover. They could do an episode or a season, and because, like, they explained what happened to Morpheus, but, like, you've got 60 years of peace, more or less. You do have the civil war between the machines and everything, but, like, what kind of influence, if any, did the humans have on it? Or do they want to just leave it to, like, we didn't get involved? Like, we picked up and we fucking made fucking IO while these motherfuckers were fighting. You know what I mean?
And I mean, dude, that's the perfect groundwork for like it's like Lana Wachowski created her own part of the Matrix story now. That's her Clone Wars.
Yeah, yeah, right. So, but no, man, I really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
With the way that Neo programmed the modal and they were able to get into the modal and pull Morpheus out of it, it's like, okay, where does like, the whole time he was working on these games and stuff, was he working on Matrix stuff for the machines? Like, we don't know. You know what I mean?
I think it's a case that he was so saturated by the medication to keep him suppressed in the Matrix that he just kind of droned on with it. And just every now and then, he'd have those glimpses where it'd be like, okay, something's off. like like when it showed him looking out into the city, and he looked at the skyscraper and he saw Matrix code very faintly on it,
Yeah.
or like the pills didn't work.
Yeah, and they see the birds.
The medication wasn't working for him
Yeah.
at all.
But
But I think that just all could be chalked up under just how powerful Neo is.
yeah, and I mean he's already got pulled out one time, so it's like, you know what I mean? It's like whenever you like do something the first time, and then you
Well, and I mean this movie did something the other three haven't, and it's once they because in the trilogy they show you what happens when a program leaves the Matrix.
yeah.
Well, even though Cypher betrays the group in the first film, all throughout the trilogy, we never really got to see the side effects of someone who was unplugged, a human being unplugged and then plugged back in.
Yeah, yeah. Like permanently plugged back in too.
Yeah, and especially someone who is as awake, quote unquote, as Neo was.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And like, who's to say that there's like, if there's other versions of the Matrix, then who's to say there's not other versions of Neo and Trinity running around out there?
Right.
I mean, they absolutely could be. Like, even in a different version of, if like an older version of the Matrix is running and somebody else is constructing it, like the architect or the Oracle, like, there's still a prophecy that's got to be fulfilled within that version of the Matrix.
Yeah, well, if the robots, if they didn't wipe each other out, each faction's got to have a Matrix.
Yeah, so they can so they can get the power. So like, who knows, man? You know?
Well, like, remember in this world, it's like, oh, so there's some good robots. Okay,
Yeah,
they're friendly. When he walked in there, he was like, whoa, what's he doing here? You know?
yeah.
They're like, you can touch it. Whoa.
Wow.
You can understand him?
Yeah. What?
Like, yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna give it a full star, man. I really, really, really enjoyed it, and I want to watch it again. You know, but like I said, my expectations going into that film were so low because I'm like, you know, the last two weren't received very well, and one of half of the Wachowskis is working on this, and you know, it's cool that Neo's back. And I don't mean, if Keanu Reeves read a shit script, he probably wouldn't have done it. You know what I mean? But like, still though, it's like they were able to pull it off.
Yeah, and I agree. I also, because what you're saying with Keanu Reeves too, it made me think of, they it had, like the meta of this movie, I feel like is so on the nose that it's not worth breaking down.
Yeah.
I think if you've watched the other three films, you'll pick up everything they're putting down in this movie. Some of it you might agree with, some of it you might not.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it was a great experience, man. I enjoyed the shit out of it. And I honestly hope they do more. And I mean, we were looking at the numbers the other day, and box office wise, not doing too hot.
But it's also on HBO Max.
I'm hoping that can be a redeeming quality.
And Spider-Man just came out. So it's like, that was not a good idea to
No, not at all.
release that around the time Spider-Man came out. What,
Yeah.
a week later? 2
Yeah.
weeks later? A week and a half, something?
It's just
So you still have people going to watch Spider-Man, and it's, I mean,
yeah,
I'm picking Spider-Man over that
absolutely.
any day. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they spent $190 million on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of money, but it looked great.
It did.
The little changes. I like the way that you go through the portals now.
Yeah, that shit's cool. Yeah.
You don't need a phone line. I like how the operator can, like, there's a hologram of him there talking to you.
Yeah, he can pull himself into it.
That's neat. I made my mind up, dude. I'm selling everything I own, and I'm buying a plot in the metaverse.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys know that this is a thing now, but do you guys have any digital real estate? Because
No.
some guy just spent over $400,000 to live next to Snoop Dogg in the metaverse.
Fuck that.
That's real.
Have you got any vacant lots close to you? Dude, digital cul-de-sac? Dude.
Well, what we're doing, man, is we're going all in.
Okay.
We're making real estate NFTs, golden real.
Okay. All right.
The real crypto coin. I mean, we're going all in, dude.
It looks like a movie reel, the crypto does?
It's the future.
Okay.
I mean,
how much do we
I
stand
wasn't
to
sure
gain?
about all this. Well,
Real
let's put
coin.
that up on books, but this is how you do this, man. It's almost like selling Rogue Bucks or V Bucks or something. You sell them the coin, they use the coin to buy your merch,
Yeah.
So it's like once they buy the coin, you're paid. You know?
They're in the system.
Yeah.
All right. So can we set up
but we're
like
going completely away from physical. You know, over the years, physical media is just kind of, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where it's going, dude. Like, it won't be long, man. And when you have to do a meeting at work, you'll just step into a VR chat and talk to everybody. You'll be able to see them. Everybody have their avatars, you know.
God, I don't want
You
that
can
to
be the
happen.
Hulk.
Dude, I'm fucking showing up as the fucking Spirit of Jazz.
Yeah.
I get fired for blackface. It's like, I'm not even I'm just this avatar.
I'm looking for cheap real estate right now in the metaverse because the prices are just going to go up, dude. I mean, there's no way the price of real estate in the U.S. now is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
I'm looking at the metaverse.
All right. Well, if you find a nice little spot.
We could also open up our own metaverse.
Oh, the real verse?
Yeah.
Oh.
Real fake verse. $400,000 just to have the same house. And it's a house. You can walk around in it. I mean, it's a digital house, but
yeah. That's where you put your NFTs up. Dude. Yeah, fuck that.
It's what GTA 5 Online's been, training us for.
Yeah.
Legit though, right? So Dexter, some new shit has come to light.
He finally did it, man. He finally was like, I think it's time that I tell you.
Yeah, I gotta tell you something.
And it's like, dude, we were saying this 5 episodes ago.
Yeah, it's like
when the kid got there.
Yeah.
And that's what he told the dude. He's like, I just want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
I feel like I deserve some goddamn answers, man.
Yeah.
And he does. Well, like, first, let's start here. Why's your fucking name different? You know?
Yeah, right. How crazy, so Mr. Krabs is like, I'm going to wine and dine this kid.
Hey, how good was he in this episode?
He is fucking great, man.
Yeah, dude. It's the voice.
Yeah, it is. And
when they were at the table talking.
Yeah.
I was like, this dude's killing it right now.
Yeah. He takes him out, hits some baseballs.
Yeah.
Venison.
Purposely hit him with some baseballs.
Yeah.
And the kid just kept doing it. And he was like, God damn, kid, you're tough.
Yeah.
Too tough.
Tough kid.
He's like, I'm going to have to kill you first.
So the thing was like, he was going to get both of them together and then have a nice meal with them and then murder them, right?
Yeah.
That was the game plan here.
He wanted to kill Harrison in front of Dexter.
Yeah, yeah. And then probably kill Dexter, if I had to imagine.
That didn't work out.
Yeah. Can't wait to get you on my table.
Fucking Dexter almost ran his ass over, dude. He showed up in one of those Jeeps from Call of Duty. Like,
yeah, right. Wow.
Trying to get a team wipe. Dude, when that motherfucker was running away, I'm over here like, get his ass.
Yeah.
Don't let him get away.
No. Get in that truck and run that motherfucker down.
Run his ass over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's out there, dude. He probably just laid down. It was snow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's in that white suit. He probably just laid down.
Legit.
But shit's about to pop off, dude.
Yeah.
It's getting good, ain't it? Like,
And we've only got 2 episodes left.
oh,
So we've got fucking cop bitch being too goddamn snooty for her own good.
yeah, that doesn't look good.
My question is like, is she gonna like find out what's going on with Kurt? And is she
Be
gonna
nice.
right? And is she gonna be in this situation where she's like, well, Dexter only kills bad people. He's a bad people. So I'm gonna let Dexter fucking kill him, and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Dexter to leave.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, she's listening to the podcast,
Yeah.
and you know, it's the serial killer that only kills bad guys.
Yeah. Like, how
Give me a
bad is he?
fucking break. You
Yeah.
know? I know you're a cop, but
But still, though, you know?
I mean, I killed bad guys.
Yeah. So,
And I'm going to show Harrison how to do it. You know?
yeah, I'm going to teach him the code. Something that Harry taught me. So, I kind of have a feeling that's the way this is going to shake out. Like, she's going to be pissed, try to arrest Dexter. Dexter's going to be like, I just told Harrison. It's time for me to tell you. And like, he's like, we got to go after Kurt. And then he's either going to fake his death again with, him and Harrison both and leave, or she dies by Kurt. That would be fucking nutty.
But it would help.
Yeah, it would be perfect. Yeah.
That sounds more left field as to what'll happen, because it'll bring her arc full circle, because she's been trying to avenge her buddy the whole show.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We got, like I said, 2 episodes left, I believe, and I'm interested to see what Harrison's reaction to all this is going to be, because as far as we know, he hasn't killed anybody. And it's like, if he tells Harrison about it, is that going to give him peace of mind enough and awareness enough to be like, okay, I know what's happening here. I know what I'm doing wrong. I need to figure out a way to control the urges at base instead of channeling the urges, or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Now, if they go, it would be crazy if they went the whole route of, if they take a left turn on us and make it to where Harrison truly is this innocent kid trying to find his biological father.
Yeah.
And he's picked up a chip along the way on his shoulder, and he thinks he's ready to accept what Dexter is. And say they get Kurt on the slab, they take him down. The show ends with him being like, this ain't the life for me, Dad. Like,
And he nopes out. Yeah.
yeah,
He could, man.
but it's on the idea that, like, because
that it's gonna be over.
yeah, because the show itself, I mean, have either of you seen any word whether it's going to get renewed or if this is going to be ongoing?
But it seems like it's called season 1 New Blood.
Yeah.
I don't know why they wouldn't just continue with,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why's it got to be a completely new? I don't know. But will it go on to be like a Harrison show? I don't know.
I feel like Michael C. Hall. I feel like Dexter's not going to die.
Yeah, I don't think
It'd be
so.
fucked up if it did.
Yeah.
Like you brought him back just to kill him. Oh.
But well, they have kind of hinted around about, like, if the show does well, if Showtime's happy with it, then it may be something that continues on. And if that's something that happens, then that's cool. But like, I think that they need to do it. They need to do it the right way. And like, I don't know what the right way would technically be, but like, I really don't want a Harrison show. I like the kid.
I want a show without Dexter.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's called Dexter,
Yeah.
So, and you're right, he's probably not going to die. But,
But is he going to want to stick around and do the show,
I think he will.
He's on tour with the Butterfly Museum.
It just makes me wonder what type of ending we're going to get. Is it going to be a cliffhanger? Is it going to be an open for interpretation? Or is it going to have a sense of finality to it?
I think that they're going to do it. they're gonna. I think that they'll have a finality to it. That way, like if they want to come back and pick up, that's fine. If they want to have that be a one season tie everything up
Yeah.
right there, then it's fine. Because I mean, if you finish this story right here and it's like Dexter, Harrison, Kurt, the cop chick, like if all that's wrapped up and they leave, then you can say, oh, well, he's going to another town. He's starting his life over again, with or without Harrison. And that's just how it's going to be. He's going to continue to kind of nomad around until he gets found out, or whatever.
Yeah.
But if they decide to pick it up, then it's like, okay, well, let's see some of these adventures that he goes on, because there's a lot of world out there,
Well, like they could wrap up with Kurt.
Yeah.
And then if it ends on that, then if they decide to bring it back, you got the whole girlfriend thing.
Yeah.
People in the town. Like,
yeah.
Whatever happened to the fucking mayor?
I don't know.
Dude, the last time we saw him, he stopped and offered that girl a ride.
Yeah, like what happened
and
with
then
that?
Just disappeared.
Yeah. And
Like,
that was something that was building up to something for a minute, like,
yeah, it was almost like they were trying to fool you, like, which one is it?
Yeah.
And then once you find out it's Kurt, they're like, fuck that guy. He was lame anyway,
What a bitch,
You figured it out.
I mean, or what if that dude kidnaps the fucking cop's daughter? Because the cop's daughter was the one that was like,
he was trying, yeah. You fucking piece of shit.
Wouldn't that would be a crazy cliffhanger for
he's got a whole nother. Well, here's the thing, dude. We still haven't seen Kurt's trophies.
Nope.
Where are these trophies?
Yeah, that's
he was embalming the bodies.
Too.
He was embalming the bodies, and he shot that girl in the face, and that's why he was trying to make that eyepiece for her.
Yeah.
Because he fucked her up.
Yeah.
That's why he won't shoot them in the back. Because he needs them to be all. Where are these? How many?
I bet
are we going to get to see the kill room?
I bet that's going to be the next episode, man.
Probably where he was going, right?
Yeah.
Running away. He's got quite the trophy collection.
I think like the Matrix. I think what's made this season of Dexter so good is that it's just better to just go into stuff without expectations anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
You'll find yourself enjoying things just a little bit more again.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that's for sure is that, the mindset of people that are completely convinced now that, Hollywood's just completely lost all creativity. And to a degree, maybe they have, but with pop culture properties, especially people who are rallying against every single little decision that's getting made.
Yeah.
The past few weeks of content have shown that if you can not necessarily put up with it, because if something's so blatantly obvious and it sucks, and it just sticks out like a sore thumb, then yeah, into the trash can it goes.
Yeah.
But I'm a lot of these things you see people trying to pull up the the agenda and stuff, and I've been very surprised at the lack of what, and when I say agenda, I mean that's a very generalized statement.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems that people are starting to get a little better at being able to convey messages, but without it just ruining the story.
Yeah, for sure, man.
The way you should do it.
Well, I think
exactly.
I think that fucking Lovecraft Country was a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Like, with his dad's story arc,
Yeah.
I really like the way that
that was like the best story arc in the show.
It really was, man.
And
it came
that's coming from us.
Yeah. It came full circle, man.
Like, we're straight.
Yeah.
But that was an awesome little storyline.
But here's the thing though, man. That guy that played his dad.
Oh yeah.
Like he was incredible.
Ass off.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And like that right there was like that helped. And that's the thing that helps sells it too. It's like if you put the right people in it and you have a really
Yes.
good, interesting message that you want to convey, that's why
We've
I'm
talked about this so many times. Like,
Yeah.
And I feel like I was the most reluctant of the three to watch Lovecraft Country. But I did, by the end of it. It was one of those situations where you are glad that you stuck through the ride.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
'Cause I'll be the first to admit there were moments throughout the show where I'm like, I'm fucking done with this.
But they
R.I.P. Chalky White.
I know, right?
I mean, they had that in the show.
Yeah. But Dexter was great. I'm looking forward to the
Yeah, can't wait to watch the next one.
Yeah. But we did have a series finale happen this past week.
Was that that was the last episode?
Yes, it was.
Damn.
So
A lot happened too.
Yeah.
Real estate's going real comic now because we're about to.
Yeah. So here's what I'm gonna say about Hawkeye. Okay. I enjoyed the show pretty well.
Yeah, way more than I thought I was.
Yeah, for sure.
See, that's the thing.
That's
It went
what-
in like that. Like,
Yeah,
probably all right.
Yeah, for sure. That definitely is what kept me coming along too. And plus, the story for it wasn't that bad.
No.
Oh,
It was Die Hard in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, more or less, right? Here's what I didn't like about it though. They should have had 2 more episodes.
yeah. Well, this one should have just been really long.
Yeah, because they were trying to wrap
A
up
2-hour episode. Something.
Well, they introduce Black Widow's sister when there's like an episode and a half left. You know what I mean? If that.
You play your steak,
Speaking of Black Widow, if I had any major criticism other than probably, what we're going to get to with Kingpin, I would say my biggest criticism throughout the whole show was the beef between Lana and Clint.
Yeah.
Because it was completely unfounded.
Well, dude, she just beat the shit out of him, and then he whistled, and she was like, "Wait a minute," you know?
Yeah. No one
Well,
else
I mean,
knows that
whistle.
whistle. Yeah.
Well, they had it was a Martha moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
But well, it's like it's the whole thing is that we get it. We saw where she snapped out and snapped back, and 5 years passed, and what the hell? How did I get here?
Yeah.
And
You want macaroni?
and you would think the first thing a Black Widow would do, or any of the Marvel characters that are just really badass agents of some organization,
Yeah.
one of the first things in their training would be, hey, do a little recon first.
Yeah, what happened when I was gone?
Yeah.
Figure out the
Well, like,
situation. You
the
boy in
lady
the
that,
street, what's the paper say?
You know, we saw on, was it Hawkeye? No, it wasn't
Black,
Hawkeye. What's
it was Black Widow.
where she sees her at the end?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, yeah, let me tell you what happened. Maybe vet her.
Yeah. Like, what
You know
the
what I'm saying?
fuck?
Just,
Yeah.
I think she's a bad guy, you know?
Or it doesn't have the best fucking
Yeah.
intentions.
Well, she's
in
got
mind.
her interest in mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, maybe do a little vet. And it's like, why you got to beat the shit out of my boy, dude?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm going to tell you guys, I really didn't give two fucks about Hawkeye.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, what's her name? Wanda.
Yeah.
WandaVision.
You know, I was, it's Wanda, whatever. But then that show, you know, it was like, wow, I actually like this character. I did that for Hawkeye with me, but I feel like he's kind of on his way out.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
They
Yeah.
kind of show
Well,
you that with him having the ice up, and you know, it's like one little final job, introduce the new Hawkeye,
Yeah.
Lady Hawk.
And well, and I think adding to that, I think that one of the things that made it so good was that they both, like the Lady Hawk and Hawkeye, they had good chemistry. Like
They did.
Yeah.
I could have watched it, and I could have sat through a whole movie of
Yeah.
them,
No
of
problem.
this story made into a film. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
She has that Spider-Man charisma where it's like, leaping into danger without
Yeah.
really thinking it
All
through.
bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Just
Yeah, and it
let's go.
contrasted well with Hawkeye being like, he
Yeah.
it sh-
Well,
it's the
he's getting
first.
too old for that shit.
Well, it's also the first person that we got to see outside of Iron Man, where the events of the Avengers and all of their battles that they've had have fucked with them.
Yeah.
Like they're all like
Yeah.
the front line has some mental damage that they haven't fully
Oh,
explored or
PTSD.
started to explore now,
Yeah.
They kind of limited it to Iron Man to kind of be the message for that. But I thought it was cool how they brought in Hawkeye and they let him kind of, because that would make more sense. He's
Let
the,
him give his piece.
yeah, and he's, especially because one of the best scenes was where they're like, what's up with your ear? And you just see like a quick cut of all the fucking explosions happening.
Yeah.
And he's like, some stuff's went down. Like I can't hear that great.
Yeah.
But also just showing you from Kate's perspective too, just how much like the scope of all of the Avenger battles, and I love how it gets expanded on. And I think I've said it in other Marvel episodes too that we've done. But I really like how the consequences of the Avenger movies are not just ignored and brushed off.
Yeah.
And well, except for WandaVision clearly, but we'll get to that. And but for the most part, like I like how it harkened back to just the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything happened with Ultron. Yeah, the blip happened and people are back. But it still showed you just how critical that first throwdown still was,
Yeah. Yeah.
What's funny is I don't know if it was the first episode of the series. It was one of the early episodes of the Hawkeye show. Griffin said, Kate's all right, but I'm gonna need to see her get her ass kicked.
And
Yeah.
boy, dude,
I need to see her get the shit beat out of her because
Yeah.
she needs. We gotta break her in.
Yeah. She needs her ass beat.
She's just too damn happy.
Yeah.
and Kingpin more
And
than
boy,
does.
she got it.
Yeah. So, and that's my biggest criticism is like they were trying to wrap up like 3 different, or 4 technically, 4 different like arcs in one thing, and it felt saturated. You know what I mean?
Get rid of the Black Widow sister
That's
shit.
yeah, that subplot could have.
Put that down and give me more Kingpin. You
yeah,
know?
Yeah. So and all right, so we got our first appearance of Kingpin since the Netflix hold has expired, which is just great to see D'Onofrio back. Like I love his fucking the way that he plays Kingpin is absolutely
His delivery.
Yes, it's absolutely incredible, dude.
Well, like you could almost like whenever he goes from just talking business to where he's just monologuing.
Yeah.
When he monologues, dude, it's like he goes straight out of a fucking comic book. Like I'm like, dude, this Saturday morning made real.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, like it's all right. The mom's working, unpaid debts, this, that, and the other bullshit with the dad and all this kind of stuff. It's like, okay, that's an interesting way for, her to get pulled into all this stuff. I do like, I enjoyed watching Kingpin beat the shit out of her.
He fucked her up, dude.
She got lucky and got the fuck out of there before Kingpin.
She got the family friendly Kingpin to beat the shit out of her, but her ass did get stomped.
Yeah. Oh,
like when he grabs her fucking arrows and just snaps the whole quiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they really do show you a great job of showing how strong and how big he is. Because I mean, Vincent D'Onofrio is not a small dude by any stretch of the imagination, but like the way that they use perspective in the show to make him seem larger than life.
Oh yeah,
was fucking incredible. They did it in the Netflix series too, but they really this is a lot of people's first introduction to Kingpin. Like, Daredevil and all that stuff was a little bit more mature than I think that, people were letting on. And it's
people watching Hawkeye may not necessarily have bothered with the Netflix shows.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that having Kingpin show up in this and then having Daredevil show up in other things first before they actually full on give him his own series or his own movie or whatever they do. I think that's a smart move because you can give that backstory. Like they gave Kingpin enough backstory in an episode, well, pretty much an episode of Hawkeye, to where now people are familiar enough with him that they could throw him into whatever they want to and it makes sense. You know what I mean?
That
Well,
also make people may want to go back and watch that now.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's still on Netflix, if it's on Hulu, if they're going to put it on Disney Plus. Like, I don't know what they're going to do with that Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist stuff, Defenders, all that kind of stuff. So I'm interested to see what they end up doing with that.
So surely he's not dead, right?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, they didn't show it.
No, because I think with a lot of stuff trying to shift into its more comic faithful like version,
Yeah.
she's gonna work for Kingpin.
I mean, he's
You
got to
know?
be the big bad in the show.
Well, it would be interesting if, it could easily be fixed with a scene of them in the alleyway. She's gonna fire the gun, but instead she just shoots it, in anger, like at the sky or the ground or something, and she's
fucking
like,
just runs off or something.
"Yeah, like get the fuck away from me," you know.
Yeah.
Or which one said something about there's a comic book where he goes blind?
So in the comic adaptation for Echo, like she shoots Kingpin, thinks that he's dead, and she actually blinds him. He's not dead, but he's blind. And that's when she has her showdown, like her final showdown with Kingpin. So I don't think that they'll go that route with it per se.
Borrow a little, or maybe one eye.
Yeah, I would like to see
Maybe
him with
next
an
time
eye
you see him, he's
patch.
got an eye patch. He spends a little time in the hospital. He spends long enough in the hospital for them to build up their little crew.
And for them to get the Echo show rolling.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Get a few episodes in before he shows up.
Well, I'd seen an interview with D'Onofrio about coming back as Kingpin, and the way he explained it was, you in Daredevil you watched Kingpin rise to power.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, because of the blip and all of that involved, it explains that he was blipped out, I guess, maybe.
Right.
So when he came back, people, the power vacuum was filled. So we get Kingpin back at square one in a way.
Okay.
So now that they can build him up again.
See that, and that would be awesome. And we don't even know if fucking Daredevil got blipped or the Defenders. Like, and that would be a very easy way for them to fix this. Like this Netflix stuff is to have all the Defenders got blipped out. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that be that.
Because I mean, it's common sense, of course, but the blip was half of all sentient life. That's a high number to hit,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a lot of people are gonna be gone.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but I did enjoy Hawkeye. Like, I see myself revisiting Loki and WandaVision before I revisit Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy it. And like the icing on the cake is, having Kingpin brought in, even though we only get him for realistically an episode. It was good to see him back, and I'm super excited for whatever comes in the future. If they decide to do the same thing that Netflix did, where they had these more street level heroes, and have Kingpin be the bad guy for those heroes, like all of them, if it makes sense for them to be, then I'm okay with that. But I would still, I don't know if I was talking to somebody or if I read a comment, but somebody was like, there's nothing more that I would love than to see Spider-Man and Daredevil have to team up.
That would be amazing.
And take on Kingpin, yeah.
Well, we're definitely setting up for some more Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, right. We can go ahead.
And we saw Daredevil there.
Yes, yes.
What's
Ah.
awesome about both of these shows is like now it's like, oh, so it was canon.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was canon, dude. All right, Spider-Man, guys.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, we were talking earlier about people building stuff up and all this kind of stuff. Like, the marketing did what it was supposed to do for Spider-Man.
Oh
The
yeah.
articles, the theories, the fucking leaks, all this kind of
The
stuff.
trailers with people CGI'd out.
Yes, it did exactly what it needed to do. And like, to be fair, I was very excited for Spider-Man. I thought that they did a great job with those first two films. And, Feige's coming out and he's like, this is Spider-Man's Endgame. And it's like, well, how big can it get? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They fucking made it as big as humanly possible.
I mean, it's the most Spider-Man film ever.
It was
Yes.
a love letter to Spider-Man, dude.
It really was, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it picks up right where Far From Home ended. Like, right in that moment where fucking Mysterio's like, I fucking Peter Parker killed me, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, all this stuff. It picks up right there. And like, his whole fucking world gets like thrown on its side,
Yeah.
And then him, MJ, Ned, like, everybody is dealing with this situation to where
Fallout.
the fallout from the whole situation. And it affects like them being able to get into college. They all want to go to college together and all this kind of stuff. And that was one of those things where it's like, I'm okay with them using that as the catalyst for him wanting to like change everything because it's affecting everybody's social lives in a negative way. I think that
especially MJ.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
it's the common link that these three films have had, and it's that Tom Holland Spider-Man is wanting to do something overpowered to solve a underpowered situation.
Yes, yeah. And that's exactly what happens. And I feel like I would have probably liked it a little bit more because nobody's life was technically in danger.
It was just the fact that they couldn't go to college. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, let's weigh the options here. Don't go to college, kill Aunt May.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
But like, if that's the kid in him, dude, like he tried so hard to fix it, but he just constantly, he doesn't win. He'll save the day.
Yeah.
Trav asked, he was like, is it classic Spider-Man, dude? Does he fucking save the day, but if he loses? It's like, yeah.
That's exactly
exactly. In a big way, too. Like,
yeah.
Because at the end of the movie, it's like, well, you're alone.
Yeah.
You're just like the other two Spider-Mans now.
Yeah. So, but he goes to Doctor Strange and he's like, look, is there not a spell, something that you can do where everybody forgets that I'm Spider-Man and all this kind of stuff? And he's like, sure, Peter, let me get right on that, And that's kind of interesting. So you've got Doctor Strange has been downgraded from Sorcerer Supreme because Wong was not snapped. He wasn't blipped out.
Yeah.
Which is like
technicality.
Yeah, right. Which is
I feel like once he came back, it's like, all right, go ahead and reinstate him. But
now Wong's still doing it, dude. Yeah.
And he was mad about town, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, what was Wong doing? He's in and out. He's going here.
Yeah. He's doing the thing, man.
Well, he has a lot of fight clubs to rip off, man. If Shang-Chi's shown us anything.
Yeah, right. But anyway, he's starting to cast a spell, and in fucking typical Spider-Man fashion, Peter Parker fashion, he starts.
Won't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he starts.
What about Aunt May?
Yeah.
Well, what about MJ?
Yeah.
Well, what about? He's like, dude, you fucking don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the spell starts bringing people into the universe that knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Instead of having everyone forget that he's Spider-Man, it starts pulling people in. And that's where, it doesn't take any time to get into this shit. at all, dude. Like zero time whatsoever. And I mean, we get that first encounter with Doc Ock on the bridge, and
Yeah.
that I was
You're not Peter.
yeah.
And like honestly, and like this, I feel it's a good time to say it. Like y'all had mentioned, it's the part where shit, like they spare no time,
Yeah.
and after that, the movie is like the equivalent to like if you were to visualize getting punched in the feels,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's the equivalent of Loki being in that time loop
Yeah.
where she keeps walking in and hitting him in the gut and walking off.
Yeah.
It's like that with the feels all throughout the movie, particularly if you're probably, if for anyone listening, if they're about, around our age and you've been watching Spider-Man movies for a hot minute,
Yeah. For 20 years, man.
uh, it just becomes a victory. Like it turns into a victory lap for the next, like, I don't know, 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And like, so they end up rounding everybody up. So Doctor Strange is like, look, these people showed up, you got to round them up, put them in their little prison cell things, and then we're going to send them back to their time. And so he ends up rounding everybody up, and then Doctor Strange is like, all right, I'm going to send them back. I've got this fucking super badass looking box that I've contained the spell in and all this kind of shit. I'm going to hit this button and it's going to send everybody back and everything's going to be fine. And Parker's like, nah, dude, like they're going to
Aunt May said I
die.
gotta help them.
Yeah, they're going to,
they're gonna go back to the point before they die.
yeah. Which is like, even if you fix them, they're still going to go.
Yeah, that's still gonna happen, right?
Yeah. Like,
I mean, well, I have an argument for that. And I think it lies all in Strange's spell casting.
Well, depends
what's
on
his
like how far
modifier?
back they go.
Well, no. Well, I think that considering he had to cast a completely different spell to fix everything, because you got to remember everything that reversing the spell in the box is what would have reverted them back to their time of death.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because Strange cast the big spell at the end
That's
and
right. He
sent
did something
everybody
different.
back, then they would have just more or less just blipped back into their universe. Or at least that's how I interpreted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they would still have a chance because even though they all agreed at the end, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, he made it very clear. He's like, I don't care what you do with them. Don't care if you kill them, if you let them live, but we're getting them the fuck out of here.
Yeah. But like, I'm sitting here thinking like, he's got the box as the fail safe. He's going to try to like fix all of them and make them like, okay.
Yeah.
So in his mind, he's going to fix them, but send them back to the point of death. But
which is honestly one of the more like good intentioned things that
It's
has
so
ever
good.
happened in the MCU so far.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That like no one has to. It's one of the few times where it's like, man, no one has to die if we can really do this right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know, that's about as Spider-Man as you could get to. I mean, it was, there'll be nitpicks for sure, but we're so far along to where it feels less like a Spider-Man movie and more of just like, or not just this movie, but all of them now. It's like just the next chapter in the larger story.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Obviously through Spider-Man's perspective and pretty much his rogues gallery or his AAA rogues gallery. And yeah, so I mean, I thought that was something that I took from it as well, was just how even though you could chalk it up to like stupid kid moment number 3,
Yeah.
it was still one of the more heroic, the most noble act of heroism that we've seen so far.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Well, and at that point too, like Aunt May had been killed, and he was like, he's doing it for her.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the other two.
And
the other two were even doing it for Aunt May. Like,
and I mean, I can't believe they went as far as they did to show Tom Holland's Spider-Man just beating the brakes off of Green Goblin.
Yeah.
It was, man.
But let's talk about this fucking apartment fight scene though, real quick. This was my favorite fight scene in the whole film. It was so good that I watched like a Chinese YouTube upload of it that was like, you know what I mean? Like,
whenever they first decided to,
all right, so
whenever old Electro takes the thing and
yes, and then Green
at
Goblin
Happy's apartment,
beats the goddamn dog shit out of fucking Spider-Man, dude.
yeah,
Willem Dafoe is a fucking national treasure, first of
he
all,
killed it.
and he like. Spider-Man has never, like Tom Holland Spider-Man has never had his ass beat like that. You know?
He had an ass whooping, dude.
No, dude.
Not like that. Even Thanos did kick his ass like that.
No, dude. And that was like, you know, in the moment you're like, holy shit, Green Goblin. And you forget how powerful Green Goblin actually is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like he has the super soldier serum like on crack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this fight sequence, like the way that they were throwing each other in and out of walls and like through the floors, and just that moment where fucking Spider-Man is on his shoulders, hitting him in the face, and he's just laughing in his face.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, that right there,
Complete madness.
I got fucking chills. I love it. He's like, whenever that Spider Sense moment happens and he walks out of the room, he's like, and then his ears are ringing and shit, and he fucking hits him with the web. He's like, neat trick you got there. And Otto's like, Norman, what's wrong? And he's like, Norman's not here. He's on sabbatical. It's like, oh, fuck. It's about to get the way he says it. Norman's on sabbatical. It's like, oh my God. But that fucking apartment fight scene was so fucking good, man.
It was good.
And then like, all right, so there was a couple of moments, like whenever they show Daredevil as his lawyer, that I fucking stood up in the movie theater and started clapping.
Yeah.
And nobody else was like, everybody's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, y'all don't understand.
I'm like, this is about to get good.
This is a big deal that fucking Matt Murdock.
Look at dot. Yeah, you're in the movie, bitch.
Yeah.
That motherfucker went on and on. Like, I don't know nothing about it.
Yeah. But like that was one moment. The apartment fight scene was another moment. Of course, when they bring the other Peter Parkers in.
Well, and maybe and granted, it's not as big a deal as those scenes, but I'll be honest. When Tom Holland's Spider-Man fixes Doc Ock, like that was that scene where Ock's like, the voices, man, like they're for the first time in a long time they're gone. Like he like
I'm in control now.
Well, it's one of the only wins that Spider-Man truly achieves in the movie.
Yeah, yeah. And he achieves it so well that he shows up at the end and helps.
Doc came through for him.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Which, I mean, you know, that's that. I don't know, that was a really great scene for me. That coming through, you know, all kind of breaking down how, you know, all that shit, and even the little moments too, like when they were just chilling and talking about, you know, their battles with the other Spider-Man and all that kind of shit, you know, like all that was just, I really took those scenes in, because that's where you're in the middle of the paragraph of the love letter, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
well, and the way that, you know, the director was able to completely capture the characterization of those actors. Like, even, you know, like Jamie Foxx was a little different, but they explained that.
They did a good job. But
he's
like, I like this version of me.
Yeah.
Fly as fuck. It was almost like when Steve Urkel, you know, the cool Urkel.
Oh yeah, sexy Urkel.
Yeah, it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
He came through, and I get that. If I was him, I'd have been like, can I stay?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I have a chance in this world.
Yeah. And then they bring in, of course, Andrew Garfield and Toby.
Dude, when he saves MJ.
Oh my God, dude.
That look on his face.
Some of y'all weren't feeling that.
Yeah, dude.
Like, you have those moments where it's I'm gonna borrow Adam's word again. Facting, dude.
Yeah. Oh, his
Uh,
face said it all.
Yeah.
Steve, like Steve
He couldn't
Rogers in
save his,
Endgame
but he
when
saved that one.
you like that. The look made you feel every emotion you needed to feel.
Yes. Yeah.
For anyone who even like who watched the Amazing Spider-Man films, and dude, they even recreated something that that I noticed while it was happening. Because when it started, I was like, "Oh, here's his moment," you know.
Yeah.
As he's falling to save her, he's doing the same. It's almost the same fall as the Gwen Stacy one. The
Yeah.
way he's bouncing off the debris, trying to catch up to her fall, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, that was. I figured I would be more touched by Tobey Maguire's return, but I
Andrew Garfield killed it, dude.
I felt myself very surprised at how much I enjoyed like Amazing Spider-Man's return. You know,
he might be returning again.
Yeah, dude. And like I think that we owe it to ourselves to do the Amazing Spider-Man, both of those films on the podcast, because it's been a little while since I've seen them. But I really enjoyed those Spider-Man movies.
They were good,
and they just got a bad rap because of a couple of fucking aesthetic changes. You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, like, fuck off. Like, when you have a good Spider-Man, let this man be fucking Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I to me, like, Toby played such a more reserved, like, seasoned.
He did.
He was like a seasoned skillet.
Veteran.
Yeah.
He played.
Yeah.
He played it so well, though. I mean,
yes. Yeah.
Like, because it's like y'all were saying, the seasoned Spider-Man, the one who's seen the most shit of all of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was, I don't know, like whenever he steps through, you know, because once we saw Amazing Spider-Man, we knew Raimi's Spider-Man was shortly to follow.
Yeah.
And them being able to, you know, which we all kind of figured it was gonna happen. Like, we followed this movie from the moment they were like, "Yeah, we're making this a trilogy," you know.
But see how they like change. Like, you know, we all kind of thought, we were like, okay, they're going to show up. They're all going to have to fight me. It was different.
It was, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? They kind of like fucked on us a little bit with information
and I don't know about you guys, but this movie has a lot of like perfect moments, comic book genre style, you know.
Yeah.
And another one probably has to be, and this to me, it's one of the best scenes in the movie, and it's Peter 1 and Peter 2, or Peter 2 and Peter 3, telling Spider-Man, you know, all this loss that you're gonna have, like, it's what makes you what you are.
Yeah, yeah.
And the fact that you still remain, like, the whole, like, the moral of the story, kids, like, that whole point is encapsulated in that scene.
Yeah.
And that's one of the few moments, man, where, like, the nuances of the comic book blended beautifully with the movie.
Yeah.
And the fact that the filmmakers, because you know, that shit can sometimes come off campy. The whole "don't be like me," or, you know, like, don't go down the left-hand path, man. But it just, they broke down each person's loss and how, you know, even though he's going through what he was going through, that it's going to be all right, because like, they went on to do things like they, even though, like, they were both Spider-Man further along the timeline to where they could be able to tell him, hey, it's going to be, and it's, I don't know, it was perfect.
Well, but here's,
go ahead, man.
Well, all I was going to say is, like, the reason that it wasn't campy was because even though we haven't seen, you know, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man in so long, we haven't seen Andrew Garfield Spider-Man in so long, we saw them experience that loss, multiple different versions of loss for both of those characters. So when they're explaining that, like, they're basically telling the audience, they're like, yeah, it was bad and it hasn't really gotten any better. And
Yeah.
this is your life now. We've experienced it. So they have this. That's why it doesn't feel campy, because we've seen them experience this shit firsthand, but also at the same time, like, you can tell with the way that their facial expressions and everything else were, is like, this is legitimate 100%. Like, this is the way it's going to be for you.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel it came off like that, because, like, I mean, how do you explain to someone unless you like, I can sit here and explain to someone that have both of their parents how it was like for me when my dad passed away, but they're not going to understand that unless they experience
they'll never
that.
understand until it happens.
Yes, exactly. And that's kind of the same thing with the Spider-Man stuff. It's like, we've seen both of these things happen to both of these characters. We can sympathize with them and only imagine how much worse it's been for them.
Yeah. Would you notice, like, Tobey Maguire? I mean, he's not cocky.
No,
Like, he's
he's laid back.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
like,
the-
what do you mean?
well-
The whole, like, can you shoot web out of other things?
Yeah.
Are we talking
Well,
about a dick?
Well, like I liked it too because when we see Toby, Andrew Garfield's full on doing Spider-Man shit. Like he
Yeah.
comes right out like dressed,
That was funny,
full
dude.
suited up.
Yeah.
Well, Toby he steps on, and he's like, what is it they
You
call him?
faster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that whole moment where they're
He's like,
getting
"I
ready
don't
for the
under the
final.
suit."
Well, yeah, for that final battle, and they're like, you got a suit, right? And you just see Toby laying the collar down, and you're just like, my man,
Yeah. Always. What I was gonna say about, so when they first like started doing the Tom Holland Spider-Man, it was like, okay, like we just started where we started. It's like, all right, we don't have to get that backstory.
Yeah.
We don't have to go through all that. They just got in. I mean, how many? We've seen him in several movies already.
Yeah.
Well,
And
like
I
you said,
thought that's just how it was going to be, right? Like he's just going to
Yeah.
be in there. We're not going to go through all that shit again. Well, after all these movies he's been in, now we're getting to his.
Yes.
Well, the whole
Aunt
trilogy
May
was the
dies.
setup to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a really clever way of doing that.
It was, man.
Instead of
Absolutely.
coming in with that and we're having to watch that again for the third time,
Yeah.
we had this huge build up to it, and it's like, oh, now he's gonna work at the fucking paper and get pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah. And
All of that's gonna happen.
And having Green Goblin kill Aunt May.
Yeah.
Not some thug that killed Uncle Ben. It was a supervillain killed his aunt. Like that. Fuck.
The only thing that was missing was Joey Diaz.
Yeah, listen here, cocksuckers.
Well, think of it this way: when Goblin arrives in the MCU, what is that going to do? How is he going to react to that?
Exactly right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right,
Because
man.
I mean, I think all the villains in the MCU are inevitable, whether they're short-lived or not.
Yeah.
What do you think his best friend's gonna be?
I'm not going to die in your arms, Peter.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that character,
that happens in every other one, right?
well, and that character ends up going on to be the Hobgoblin. Ned does.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point, who knows, man?
Yeah.
Well, before we get too far removed from what we were saying a minute ago, though, I in regards to how they treat his origin and how
Oh yeah.
I still think one of the best moments in the trilogy as a whole had to be when Spider-Man's explaining to Iron Man for the first time, or I think it might have been to Ned, but he was like, the spider doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The spider's been dead a long time.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was a good one line to fucking just be like, y'all know, I know, let's keep move along.
Yeah. Yeah. Which it looks like we're going to get some of that story play out with the animated series that's going to be coming out. So,
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's going to be his freshman year when he first became Spider-Man. So, we may see some of
that.
Yeah, we may see some of that stuff play out. But I mean, dude, Endgame and Infinity War, like everything that they've been able to accomplish has been absolutely phenomenal. But a lot of people's favorite character is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I love Spider-Man. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters. And the way that they did something new with something so familiar. Like,
Absolutely.
I mean, I never thought that they would have been able to do something like that. And
Well, this director's gonna kill it
yeah,
with the Fantastic Four.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
Oh,
The way he handled this, I've got all the faith in the world in this dude.
yeah.
I have to agree.
He perfectly captured family with Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like whenever you actually have a family that's a superhero team, that's going to be incredible, man. And I saw a rumor today. I think there was a YouTube video. So, you know who the rumors for The Thing and Mr. Fantastic are?
Who?
All right. The Thing, the rumor for that is Seth Rogen. Yeah.
Oh, the voice.
They said that.
Now, in all fairness, if you've ever read a Fantastic Four comic,
I'm not mad at that voice for that character.
The Thing's kind of ridiculous. His dialogue
goofy.
His dialogue is very silly.
Yeah.
I mean, that voice kind of matches that body.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. They said, all right. So the reason that they're pointing at this is because Seth Rogen was in talks with Marvel a year or two ago about playing two potential characters. One of the characters was Nova, and one of the characters was the Thing. And they have.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I don't know. I don't think that they've cast Nova yet, but I'm pretty sure Nova's going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy, right? So that casting will be confirmed sooner rather than later. But we'll see though, you know?
Yeah.
And then the Mr. Fantastic casting was the guy who plays Dennis from It's Always Sunny.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, he could pull the look off.
He's got the look, man.
Yeah, he does.
And he's got the fucking, pan axe.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
the these Marvel films have a good they have a good track record of taking actors and making them have performances you wouldn't expect them to be able to have.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like Michael Keaton as the Vulture.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. What are some other ones
that may be why they pulled those episodes of that show.
I mean, fucking Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, so I think it could be done.
For
and
sure.
I think and to elaborate more on Seth Rogen as the Thing, I feel like once he transforms into the Thing, give him like some sort of like audio filter, like kind of like with Groot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because honestly, you wouldn't know Groot was Vin Diesel until you saw the credits.
Yeah, yeah. I think that the director's going to pull a Spider-Man with it and just have them already be the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to see Seth Rogen as like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what's good about that? I mean, the Thing is like a fucking pile of rocks.
Yeah.
Well, Seth Rogen sounds like he's fucking got rocks in his throat.
Yeah, already.
His voice does match that. And the reason I'm not even mad at that if he plays him is like Seth Rogen ain't writing the movie.
Yeah, right.
He's just reading the lines. So,
well, another thing too with it would be badass too because they start the movie, they're already doing Fantastic Four shit, or they're doing stuff and people are like, who the fuck are these people, and you're just seeing the plot unfolding, and you just have like a moment where maybe use the Thing as the person to do the exposition of like we should have never went through that fucking portal, like we use it in like the moment of doubt in the movie.
Yeah.
And just have him be like, it's like, here's how we became what we were, but here's give a reason, because like they're down on their luck and he's reminiscing about it.
Yeah. Well, and they could use the setup for the Spider-Man to be the reason for why they are the way that they are.
Well, I mean, yeah, because we don't fully know the ramification of what Doctor Strange has done.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's opened the multiverse, but what else has that caused? Like, could that have sent some sort of,
Well, that
cosmic
and his
wave or
movie
something?
is going to come out before the Fantastic Four, right?
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
We have no. I mean, that trailer looks nutty.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Absolutely.
going on there.
Yeah.
So new shit may come to light. But dude, so that was like talked about this week. Him playing that character.
It was a video that I watched on lunch. Yeah, I think it was like 4 or
Okay.
5 days old, something like that.
All right. Well, about 4 or 5 days ago, Corey was like, "Guess what they did? They pulled these episodes of It's Always Sunny
Off of every streaming service.
Yeah, but it's on Hulu.
Yeah.
I
Which
think
is-
it's actually owned by Disney.
Which is Disney on now, yeah.
So if Disney is going to be like, we'll want to bring you in as this character, but we're introducing you, we're putting our stamp on you.
Yeah.
We can't have people going and watching this shit and getting all pissed at us and trying to cancel you. Like,
Yeah.
because they will.
Oh yeah,
Like
for
a
sure.
preventative,
So it's like, let's
measure.
just go ahead and get rid of it.
Yeah.
Which those DVDs and Blu-rays just went up in value if
Yeah.
you got them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
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 But that's weird, dude, because that happened around the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I always thought that he would be perfect casting for Doctor Doom because of how cynical he is on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that, and there was it last season of It's Always Sunny where he wasn't in a good majority of it?
Yeah, he just disappeared for a while and then
Yeah.
just shows back up.
Yeah. So, I mean, who knows, man? Maybe they were doing some tests,
Dude, that's right. He was gone for a while.
He was gone for like half the season, and then he shows back up out of nowhere.
Yeah, looking for his car.
Yeah.
I left it right here.
Yeah. So,
And then there was nothing that he was in.
no.
Like,
So, and you got to think like there's
Who's to say he hasn't already went in and filmed stuff,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he definitely could have went in and like they're getting the costumes right, doing some test screenings to see how that's going to look on film, And it's always
that would be huge for him.
Yeah. I mean, he's great. So
Oh yeah.
And how funny would it be to see them rip that off in the show? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can already hear him and Rogan going back and forth.
Yeah, right.
I mean, dude, imagine a movie where the Fantastic Four and the Guardians are the big team that have to take down the bad guy.
That would be amazing. You got cocky Star-Lord, you got fucking
I mean, just all the chances for interactions with the characters and how they would,
Yeah,
that'd be so awesome.
Right.
Like imagine the Human Torch interacting with like Rocket.
Yeah, right.
I mean, just like I said, the possibilities are endless for really good writing with those guys.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that would be a good way of like doing present time Earth cosmic Marvel stuff, is have the Fantastic Four going off on missions and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they end up in space for whatever reason, and they could even, like I said, they run into the Guardians and do something, or they run into the Nova. Like you could, pick your story,
Yeah, yeah.
I have all the faith in the world.
Absolutely.
And Kevin Feige, Marvel, and this fucking director.
Yes.
Hey, that director is doing a show. It's actually the next thing he's got in line before the Fantastic Four, but he's doing the episode 1 for a show called The Old Man.
And
it's an FX show. Go figure.
Yeah.
But it's got Jeff Bridges.
What?
John Lithgow. It's a story about a former CIA officer who's living off the grid, finds himself on the run from people who want to kill him. Guessing that's Bridges? I don't know.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, I was like, hell yeah.
Oh man, look at my
They
life.
gotta use that, right? Like,
Yeah, I know. What about, all right, at the end of Venom, which is the
Yeah.
only reason that we watch Venom, is to see the post-credit scene. He gets pulled into the MCU.
Yep.
How fitting was it that the whole time that he was there, he was just like at a bar trying to figure out what the fuck is going, you know what I mean? Like, he's such a fuck up, you know?
Yeah.
And they played it true.
What I like, man, is how people were like, but why was he there? He don't know who Spider-Man is. And it's like, well, right at the end of the movie, the motherfucker said it's a hive mind. So any Venom that knows who Spider-Man, you know what I mean? He's like, I'm going to tell you everything that we know.
Yeah.
Hope your little, pea brain can handle it.
Yeah.
And he starts seeing flashes of stuff, and then he gets sucked into it. And it's like, oh, because he knows who Spider-Man is now.
Yeah. And that's a clever way for them to do it.
That was clever.
Yeah.
And I like how when he leaves the bar, you see the little shit on the bar.
Yeah.
And it's like, so that's a good way of them bringing that over without having it be him.
Yeah. Or
he can go make another movie or however many. I know they're doing another one.
Yeah.
But we can get our own Venom in the MCU.
Well, here's what people...
Sony can have theirs.
Yeah. Well, here's what people want. And let me know what you think about this, Trav. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but people want another Amazing Spider-Man film with Andrew Garfield, right? To finish his trilogy out. They want it to be him versus Venom, the Tom Hardy Venom.
That'd be great.
What?
Yeah. People,
there's be longer than an hour and a half, but yeah.
There's a petition going around online right now where they want the Amazing Spider-Man 3 to come out. They want to bring Andrew Garfield back and finish his trilogy. And they also want to have Tom Hardy come in and play Venom in this.
Well, it would be a Sony movie.
Yeah.
Those are both Sony characters.
Yeah.
Definitely a better villain than the other villains he fought.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of room there for some great things to happen, in my opinion.
He kind of stole the show.
To me, he did.
He did, dude. The internet loved him. And it's like, but you fucking bitched about the movies and got it shut down.
Yeah. And all right, that's one thing that I want to say about all this stuff. Okay, here's the deal, man. Like, we can sit here and tell you right now that the Ghost Rider films with Nicolas Cage that came out were not the greatest fucking movies ever made, right?
Yeah.
But they got us a Ghost Rider movie, right?
Yeah.
And we've read, or I've at least read rumors that when they bring fucking Ghost Rider into the MCU, they're wanting to do something very similar with Ghost Rider that they did with Spider-Man. They want to bring Nick Cage. They want to bring Elliot, old man fucking Ghost Rider with the horse. And then they also want to bring in the new version of Ghost Rider that was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And also, of course, have a new version of Johnny Blaze. If we get that...
Introduce a new character, yeah.
Yeah. So, and if we get that, then like, okay, quit bitching about the movies. Like, some movies are going to be better than other movies. That's just the reality of the situation.
Well, and then on down the line, you may get another movie, 20 years later.
Yeah.
That makes that movie even better.
Exactly.
Which is what's just happened. I mean, it wasn't that long, but with Andrew Garfield, like, people were bitching about that. Now they won't shut the fuck up. They want him in a movie.
Yeah. And I'm like, if y'all would have kept y'all's fucking panties like on instead of letting them fucking ring around your fucking voice box, we would have got another Amazing Spider-Man film. Now, granted, we probably wouldn't have got, we may not have got Tom Holland as Spider-Man, which would have been a shame, right?
Yeah.
But we may also have had Andrew Garfield come in as that version of Spider-Man in the MCU. We don't know what they would have done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's.
Yeah, because the backlash over the movies just kind of got rid of him as playing Spider-Man. Like they were like, we're not doing another one.
It's the same shit that happened with Justice League. It's the. I mean, we've seen it. The proof is in the pudding, right here. Let these people have their fucking visions. Let these people see their visions out. And at the end of the day, if it's not good, then that's fine. But at least let us get to that point, you know?
Yeah.
Like the guy that did the Amazing Spider-Man, he did both of them. Mark Webb. He did both of them, I'm pretty sure here. And I mean, this dude has done some good shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like he did his Spider-Man movies and that was that. And it's like, bring him back. Let's see what else he has to say, you know, about the Amazing Spider-Man, and let that be that. They've got their Sony Spider-Man right there in the bag. They can do whatever they want.
And they're even talking about, there was talks of Sam Raimi.
Yeah, coming back and finishing doing the Vulture.
Do his last, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm okay with it.
They've set them up for it.
Yeah.
It's like we just had a movie come out, and as of 2 days ago, has made $1 billion worldwide already. Just a little over.
Yeah. So.
And they've handed it to them again.
Oh yeah, for sure.
On a nice little platter. It's like, here you go.
Specifically, they made $1 billion making a Marvel or making an MCU Spider-Man based on what Raimi and Webb created.
Yeah. Absolutely, dude.
Because without either of those film series, this movie wouldn't have existed. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
So.
And it's what people wanted. We wanted to see, like when everyone caught wind of the apple pie that is the 3 Spider-Men in one film, everyone was like, "Where's the window?
Yeah.
Where's the window?" You know, like we were. So it showed that people wanted to see those characters again.
Yeah.
And people are going back to see it. You know, like I mean, $1 billion. I mean, it's the only movie this year to hit $1 billion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now there is a movie in China that's around 900 million. Of course, that won't be released here, but
if there's one thing Pandy has shown, it's that people will work through the apocalypse and they will risk it to go see Spider-Man.
Yeah. So, I mean, even fucking Shang-Chi did good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and despite the controversy, I think a lot of people went and watched Black Widow too.
Yeah. So, but I mean, they did amazing work, and I'm so happy that this movie exists. And now, like, it's so fucking genius, man. Legitimately, like in the future, when you sit down with your children and you're like, "Do you guys want to watch the Spider-Man fucking saga?" And they're like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Well, we've got 3 with this dude, we've got 2 with this dude, we've got 2 with this dude, and then we've got the fucking be all end all." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's impressive.
It's almost a Star Wars level saga just around one Marvel character.
Yeah. Much deserved.
And I mean, it fixes, with the exception of Blade, it fixes any of the loose Marvel threads that are out there right now.
Yeah. And I think that they may fix that.
I mean, yeah.
So.
One thing I needed to ask, because I figured I'd wait till the pod. So I know, I think me and Adam still. You haven't seen Eternals, have you, Adam? So just like with Shang-Chi,
That drops in
Griffin,
January.
is there any Eternal connection at all, or is Eternals absolutely its own secular story?
It's its own thing, man.
Gotcha.
It's its own thing. 1000%. Like, you're in, you're out. It
Movie's done.
it does what it needs to do. It gives information for what it needs to give, but it doesn't like enrich, you know, recent things. It's definitely gonna.
It's a world builder film.
Yeah, it's planting a seed right now, and it's gonna bloom probably in the next 5 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the
Okay.
scope, but yeah,
Because as far as I know, I think that's still the one that's looming in the air that I haven't gotten under the belt.
That drops in January, so
we'll definitely do it on the
we'll be
pod.
checking that out.
Yeah.
The other night I was listening to the newest episode of Hollywood Babylon.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how much they paid these 3, right?
Right.
So you'll remember, like Tobey Maguire, he made like $23 million off the movies he did.
Yeah.
And he's got a net worth of like 75 million. So he's
good. Yeah.
So they weren't in the whole movie. They were only in there for a little bit. So they paid them each $1 million.
Wow.
Pretty good little payday for, but considering what the movie's made,
yeah,
there might be a little back end. I don't know. It could have been one of those things where it's like, we don't know how it's going to play because of the pandy. So,
yeah.
But I was like, that's kind of low, but, they're loaded.
Yeah.
And it might set them up to be in more movies and make more money. But here's the one where I was like, that's weird. Tom Holland, 4 to 5 million.
Wow.
That seems like that's a little bit under. Now, he's going to be guaranteed more roles. And I think I saw where he has a net worth of like 15 million already. So,
right. Yeah.
But still.
How did they talk
when
about?
When you're paying Black Widow the kind of money you're paying her.
Yeah.
For her movie. But there was no like reports of back end deals. Like that was just what was reported that they were paid for doing the movies. You don't even know if that's true, really. I mean,
yeah. Did they comment how much the villains were paid?
No.
You got to think that they probably did it for.
See, that's right, man. They had to pay a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, if you pay $1 million each.
Yeah.
Well, they probably laid it out like, look, everybody across the board, because we got some star power in this movie,
and everybody's got to eat.
We're all going to take this much, and I bet you there is a back end. I mean, there has to be, because it's standard in all casting clauses. They have that worked in somehow,
especially for these kinds of movies.
Yeah,
I think they knew what they had.
Yeah,
they knew they had a banger of a script, and they knew that this was probably a movie that if you could big ball your way through the executive office with it, you're going to come out and be like, hey man, take a little bit now, get a whole lot more later.
You take a little bit now, that allows us to spend more on the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which you could see, it looked great.
Yeah. Well, and think about it this way too. It's like, Defoe said that there's one stipulation for him coming back, and he said he wanted to do all of his own stunts, right?
Uh-huh.
Which, like, fucking hats off to him,
Yeah.
For being the H he is, wanting to beat the shit out of a fucking kid. You know what I mean? Like, hats off to him. But, I mean, Toby, of course, like, he's played an iconic character. Third movie kind of fell short. He wants a chance to redeem himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Garfield, same thing. Like, a lot of these people, like, when you read that script and you see that their characters and everything has been fully redeemed 1000%.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they didn't do it for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, legit. Like, I understand that they needed a payday, and I think that they just offered them a flat rate of like $1 million just for the fucking SAG and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
But like, Jamie Foxx, he fucking acted his ass off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was a lot better in this movie.
Yeah, like, he had something to prove as well. Like, I mean, it was a perfect swan song.
That is awesome to be able to come back and kind of fix what the internet hated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the same. I mean, it's the same thing Snyder did with Leto's Joker.
Yeah.
And he did it in under 5 minutes with the character.
Yeah.
completely
Exactly.
redeemed it.
Yeah. But I'm giving it a fucking full star, dude.
Oh
It's
yeah,
a
man.
Night of Stars, dude.
Yeah.
It
gets
is a nice star. This is the end of the year podcast.
end of the year, end of the quarter, end of the month.
I mean, we've got a 4-cylinder banger cannon and we fired all our ammo, dude. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Fucking spent. You know?
Yeah.
Eternals drops on the 12th, so in a couple weeks we can watch that.
We'll have to check that out, man.
but yeah, good content all around, man.
Do y'all want to fucking peep this Batman trailer before we go?
I do. I haven't watched it.
Same.
I haven't either.
All right.
We can be rolling around some fucking next week's picks in our heads if y'all want to while we're
Sure.
peeping this. 3 minutes.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
I'm putting it in 4K, you know?
Right.
Yeah, this is heavy spoilers uploaded it.
Yeah, right.
All right, y'all ready?
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm bumping up to 1440. All right, I'm ready when y'all are.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
Damn, you know?
Let's go.
I'm so hyped for legitimate Batmobile sequences again.
That's a cool
got some.
shot.
FaceTiming him. Never seen Batman do FaceTime. This motherfucker is gonna act his ass off, dude.
I know, dude.
Ooh. Oh. I love the way the voice sounds. Yeah, there's so much happening, dude.
Dude. Batman as fuck, my guy.
It almost has that classic Batman kind of.
Yeah. God, that looks so good.
Man.
I mean, it looks like a non-stop, like, it's like we're gonna get action sequence talking. And I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis fucking looks like he's gonna be a good Alfred.
Yeah.
Right? Good choice, honestly.
That's gonna be so good. It comes out in March, man.
Oh,
Definitely.
I don't want no more trailers.
Yeah.
I hope this, right, no more.
It should be the
I'm
final.
ready for the movie, you know?
So what are we gonna peep next week, fellas?
Well, Don't Look Up came out. I don't know if you guys are interested in seeing that or
I've watched a few minutes of that with
a little
my
bit.
wife. She fired it up. Um, there's this scene where DiCaprio and what's her name?
And for
Jennifer
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Yeah, they're in this military plane, like this big B-50, like which like what we jump out for out of in Verdansk.
Yeah.
It's just this huge, and they're the only ones in it. And it's like, because we've seen the trailer, so the movie is that they figured out the end of the world's happening.
Yeah, asteroids coming or
Yeah.
something like that.
Well, they're on this plane, dude, and I guess it's sometime after they connected those dots or whatever, and they're just on there having like a nervous breakdown. Like it's their moment to flip the fuck out before they have to go
Yeah.
be in front of people.
While they're
And
alone.
I was like, that's and then
Yeah.
but it looks interesting enough. I never finished it, so I don't. Nothing was really spoiled other than just stuff was embellished from what I know already.
Yeah, also Resident Evil came out.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
When I went and watched Spider-Man, I noticed that was in theaters. I was like, man, talk about under the radar. Or maybe just because I don't watch TV, so the little TV spots aren't getting me. But
I may want to watch some Leo, man.
oh yeah, I mean I'm watching that movie either way.
I am kind of interested in what's happening here,
$75 million budget on a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
It does have a better score than the Resident Evil movie, I will say that.
Michael Chiklis in it too.
Bunch of people.
I think we kind of know how Resident Evil is going to play out anyway.
Well, on Twitter, I've seen two extremes for the Resident Evil film. People are like, this fucking sucked. And then there's people that's like, this is pure fan service. So I think that we kind of owe it to ourselves to,
Oh yeah, we'll still have to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm full with Don't Look. I'm full. I'm good with Don't Look Up. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
If y'all are cool with it.
Ron Perlman.
Same.
Ariana Grande.
Mm?
Tyler Perry.
Ooh. Is Medea in
Got
it?
everybody in it. Hope is he's like, I don't know what's happening, Like,
the sky's crashing.
But yeah.
Let's do it, man. Don't Look Up.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. More
See you
real
next
estate.
year.
Yeah.
The check's in the stocking.